Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me is Will Power and Arnie Orange. We have a lot to talk about today. It's Monday. We're going to talk about the week 6, and we have a lot of stuff. But before we start with that, I want to see how you guys are doing. Let's start with Will, man. How's it going, dude?
It's going great. I'm happy and excited to be on the show with you guys. I haven't done a Monday show in a while, and I'm glad to maybe take a little step away from the fantasy aspect of baseball and just talk about everything that's going on in the baseball world right now.
Excitement, right? Dan Ernie just I guess he kind of logged off. I don't know what happened. We had internet issues on Friday, man, and we took like I know it's the time that Will and Xavi do their fantasy thing, and we try to do our best. We butchered some names out there. I think I
Yeah, I
did
was I,
a
I was listening in for about like I don't know 10, 15 minutes or so. I wish
yeah.
I could have listened a little bit longer, but as I told you, it was my 9-year wedding anniversary. So the wife and I wanted to, well, I wanted to take her out, and
That's
give
what
her a little
she's.
surprise and do something nice for her,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
as
yeah,
we should as good husbands, right?
yeah. And let me go ahead and put one of these for you because Um, damn, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? And then I'm all over the place. There you go, right there. All right, I think Ernie's back on. Ernie, dude, what happened, man? It turned off on you?
Hey man, hey guys, thanks. I'm excited to be in the show, man. But the moment it was about to start, this thing just kicked me out. Come
Oh
on, man, we gotta
man.
get it together.
Yeah, you're good. You're good, dude. You're good. All right, we already started our show, so we're gonna go ahead and start with our topics. We have the player of the month for the month of April, and we have exciting news for those players. We are talking about the Orioles. Are they gonna keep it up throughout the whole season, or is it just something that they're lucky and they're just playing lucky ball right now? But we'll get into that. And then rivalry week, or so-called rivalry week, we have the Dodgers against the Padres and the Tampa Bay Rays against the Yankees. And we'll talk about that as soon as we get into it. But let's go ahead and start with the most. I guess is it the fantasy? Not fantasy. Sorry. See, I'm losing it again. God damn.
Because you're
No.
used to doing the fantasy on last Friday.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. There you go. See, I'm over here like messing up my words and stuff like. Well, let's start with the player of the month in April and player of the month. Matt Chapman. Did you guys see this coming? To be honest.
Honestly, he was my sleeper going into the season for fantasy reasons, and the main reason is because I know the player that he used to be on a weak team like the A's, and now that he's on a good team, and this is a free agency year for him going into free agency after 2023. I'm a
Yeah.
big firm believer in when these guys are about to hit free agency, they just go off, man. We've seen it time and time again, multiple times every single season. You see these guys and they just put in all that extra work. I was kind of hoping for Yasmani Grandal to also kind of turn it around. That was another sleeper of mine from the catcher aspect. But dude, Matt Chapman, I feel like I really hit the nail on the head with that one when I was talking about him earlier in earlier episodes this season.
Uh huh.
It's exciting to watch him, be this player again because we haven't seen him be, a top baseball star for at least 4 seasons or so. Ever since he had that bad injury, I don't remember what his injury was, but it's still exciting to see him, especially playing for Toronto. My AL team that I picked to go to the World Series this year before the season started.
Man, you picked the Blu-rays. What the hell? The
Blu-rays.
Blue Jays, man. What the hell's going on with me?
Hey man,
Let me get it together. Let me get it together. All right, cool. There we got it. Ernie, man, what you think, dude? Did you expect Chapman to be a top player? And I mean, he is. He is. And I have him on my fantasy league, so
you know what? I'm not surprised with Matt Chapman. This guy is a very talented third baseman. You've seen time and time again with the A's how productive he was for that team when the team was even struggling.
yeah,
Like Will said, it is a contract year, so it's a big year for him. If he continues to keep having this success, he's gonna get paid, man. And with these contracts, hard to find a third baseman out there with this much talent. He has a
yeah,
great arm, and he finally has that protection he needs in the Blue Jays batting lineup. He has a lot of star-studded players there with Vladimir Guerrero. So, this team is definitely has in the right path to make the playoffs this year, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah, and I think he's on the right lineup, and that's helping his case to get a bigger contract for whoever's going to sign him. It might be the Blue Jays, and we just don't know. They're probably working something out with him because if he's playing, he has a hot start like he does right now, and he keeps going through the month of May and June. I mean, he should be fine, and I think the Blue Jays wouldn't be wrong if they sign him because if the Blue Jays want to keep competing, they still have to climb the ladder to catch up to Tampa Bay, but they're heading into the right spot. They're behind the Orioles too, I believe. So, I mean,
Hmm.
they're in the right spot. Let's
Yeah,
keep on. Yeah,
they're not afraid to spend money either. They've been spending money the past few seasons.
yeah,
So a guy like Chapman, I feel like even offering him like what the asking price would be is still a somewhat of a discount on a guy like this because he hasn't really been Matt Chapman for the past 3-4 seasons now.
yeah,
It's just kind of all coming together for him, and it kind of makes you wonder towards the end of the season, even if he sustains this the whole season, is this the Matt Chapman that we're going to see going forward? You
that's
know,
true.
that there is a track record there from a while back, but going forward, it's do you believe the 2023 season? Do you believe it's real, or do you kind of go with like the last like cumulative 4 years where it really hasn't been the best for him? It's injury concerns are it's a big concern. It's a big
Yeah,
concern with every team. Toronto, I feel like they can kind of work around that. They have DH spot available, and there's no one on the Toronto team that is really like just a DH. They have two catchers that share time at DH and at behind the backstop. But for the most part, like I'd much rather see a Matt Chapman in a DH spot if he's kind of nursing an injury, rather than one of these catchers that they're okay as a catcher, but with the type of power that Matt Chapman has and the defensive capabilities that he has, those are the type of guys that I would rather have in the lineup every single day.
yeah, and I agree, man. I agree. Let's move on. Let's go to the next one. This one's not so surprising because we kind of expected Acuna to step up this year and to be that leader in the Braves team. And dude, this guy, we talked about him last week, remember Ernie? And this guy kind of like just has some big numbers, dude. And it's he's pretty much carrying the Braves. He's not hitting for power, which is something that it's kind of amazing to me. It's like kind of, and it's not saying I'm not saying that that's all he does, but he's hitting the ball everywhere. He's hitting it to right, center, and left, and he's actually like stealing bases. He had 13 stolen bases in the month of April, sorry, and then he's just been having an amazing year so far. And it could be too early; it's only 1 month, but when you start seeing little things like that from a player, you kind of notice that he's kind of grinding and he's finding a way to not hit the ball out. He's trying to produce runs. He's trying to move runners over, and that's what's making him a little bit more of a high caliber player for the Braves. So I don't know, man. This guy didn't surprise me at all. I think he's going to be one of the MVP finalists, if you ask me, in the NL.
Yeah, correct, Carlos. For me, I personally think he's a future MLB superstar for the Braves. He has a great career ahead of him. He is the favorite right now for the NL MVP. He has the highest odds, highest chances to winning. And like you said, he's on pace for a 30-30 season, 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases. He is producing at a level we have never seen. It's just very unfortunate he wasn't there for the 2020 World Series. But you are seeing the new Braves team, such talented team that is willing to do anything to win this year. And honestly, they are my favorites to come out of the NL this year.
Yeah,
I don't see anybody taking them down with the pitching and the bats they have in that lineup.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, they do have a really strong team. I'm looking at Acuna's Statcast page, and it is just filled with red, man. Like, if you guys aren't familiar with the page, red means that you're in like the top 10% of the league
Wow.
when it comes to different categories. So I'm looking at his exit velocity last season in 2022. In He saw 2,162 pitches, which is a lot of pitches. It's almost a full season. I think he was hurt a little bit, or was it the knee thing? Like when did he leave? Or
2020 when he had that injury out there in right field. he
And
came back
last year
down.
he was a little banged up also, right? He didn't play a full season.
Well,
But
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with Acuna. He hasn't played a full like season to where we can kind of see the numbers and be like, oh, all right, this guy's
yeah,
making sense.
and I know he's been kind of taking it easy the last couple seasons, but looking at his 15 stolen bases already just in the first month of the season, like that just shows you right there he's healthy.
Yeah,
He is super healthy right now. 30 runs, 21 RBI, 15 stolen bases, 6 home runs, a 338 batting average with a 345 expected batting average. That is just insane. Expected slug is 639. His OPS is almost at 1,000. And honestly, he's one of the only players that I think that could actually sustain that throughout the whole season. Maybe not a 338 batting average, but definitely a plus 300 batting average.
yeah,
And he's hitting the ball harder than ever. His previous in 2021, he was hitting the ball on average about 93.8 miles per hour exit velocity. He's at 94.7 this year.
dang,
That is incredible, dude. The MLB average is only 88.4, so he's a full 6 miles per hour uh,
above.
above MLB average. So the only downside that I see from him, which is easily correctable, is he's hitting on the ball on the ground a lot. His
Yeah,
ground ball percentage is at a 53.5% rate, whereas in previous seasons, the highest he's ever had was 47.7. MLB average is a 44.8. So he's almost 10% higher than the rest of the players in MLB. Line drive rate is still really good. It's at a 23.7. The fly ball rate, I think that's the thing that he has to work on. He needs to put the ball in the air a lot more, which is why he only has 6 home runs right now. I think if he starts putting the ball in the air a lot more, he's in the 97th percentile on average exit velocity. So he's definitely hitting the ball hard. It's not leaving the yard because he's just not lifting the ball enough. I
Hey,
think that's
Will,
something that's easily correctable, though.
but do you
yeah,
think with the shift not being in place now, he has the ability to hit it more on the ground and get more base hits that way?
Maybe
You
that's what
know,
he's going for.
you know,
Maybe like I see with the Rays that they're going in the direction of small ball.
yeah,
I see a lot more hit and runs or squeeze plays or just bunting for base hits or just
yeah,
moving runners over. Like that's the
exactly.
direction that the Rays are going for. Maybe it's possible that guys like Acuna are kind of also taking up that like mindset to
Yeah,
to shy away from trying to go yard every single time and just put the ball in play. Now that, like you said, the defensive shift is gone, a lot of these hits on the ground that used to be automatic outs, they're making it through to the outfield now.
yeah. They are.
and you see these two teams, the Rays and the Braves. They're both in first place and both leading their leagues, and so
Yeah,
small ball is the way to go these days.
you're right because the Braves are the number one team in the NL, and you have the Rays that are playing small ball. They're the top of their league as well. So, I mean, it's not a surprise that to see him to be the player of the month. But hopefully, it carries on for the Braves, and he doesn't get injured. That's one of the things that I think Acuna needs to worry about is getting injured because he has gotten hit in the knee. I believe he's got hit in the shoulder. It came out back negative, which is a good thing for the Braves. As a fan for the Dodgers, I don't want him. I don't want to see this guy be healthy, But it is what it is, and he well deserved for the month of April. He started really great. Let's move on, man. For the AL pitcher of the month, it's Garrett Cole, and I don't see this guy not winning a player of the month because he's a top pitcher, dude. Like, why wouldn't he be the top for the month of April, right?
That is correct. Garrett Cole had a great month, Carlos. He didn't even give up a single home run for the month of April. He was very unhittable. The Yankees were, every time he was on the mound, it was an automatic dub for them. So Garrett Cole just kept doing his thing. Unfortunately, yesterday he had a little hiccup, but it's bound to happen with these starting pitchers, man. And Garrett Cole's on pace to be the Cy Young this year. There's no way of anybody stopping him.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, and the hiccup that he had was, of course, against the first place team in the Tampa Bay Rays that we just kind of got done talking about playing the small ball. And guys like Garrett Cole, who have this like amazing amount of strikeout capability, those are the type of pitchers that usually do very well against teams like the Rays, because you really have to strike out the Rays to be able to dominate them, because once they put the ball in play, there's so much speed on their team that a lot of times these guys can just run out something that used to be an out last season, you know?
Yeah. And does it surprise you though?
No,
Nah,
not at
right?
all.
Nah.
Garrett Cole is Jacob deGrom is here, but Garrett Cole is like right there. The only problem with deGrom is he can't stay healthy. But Garrett Cole, like, when's the last time you saw him injured? I honestly don't even remember any time that he's been injured. This guy's a robot, dude. He's a beast. Like that. I don't think there's any stopping him. You know, he's only 32 years old, so he's still in the prime of his career. I think that we probably won't even see any slowing down from him, at least for another 3 years.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Lucky for the Yankees.
Need Rodon back.
They do.
That's going to be the
back.
big thing for the Yankees. That's what's going to keep them in contention. Rodon and Judge. Both of those guys need to be healthy and come back.
Rodon started throwing already, I believe. So we'll see when he comes back. But depending on how his arm feels. Oh, did he? He had a setback?
Yeah, they're not expecting him to come back to July. He still continues to have back problems. So they're not too sure when his timetable is to come back, but it's not looking good.
Yankees kind of have that like bad luck with players that they sign, that they just get injured like right away.
Yeah.
But hey, they need them for the playoffs. You know, as long as they can make it to the playoffs, like that's going to be the biggest thing.
Well, that's the thing. They have to stay close with the other teams. You have the Orioles and you have the Rays that are playing good baseball, and they're taking off with it. And they are in the East. Remember, the East is the toughest freaking division out in baseball right now.
Even Boston, man. Even Boston's looking good.
Yeah.
No one ever thought that they would be doing as well as they are right now. But you have a lot of guys that are just slapping base hits. You know, it's the small ball. It's what Boston kind of is implementing into their game plan. Also, signing guys like Justin Turner, that he's not a 25 home run hitter anymore, but he gets on base. You know, that I think that's going to be the biggest thing for this year. Is just every team just needs to focus on just getting on base and moving runners over.
Yep. And all their buddies are out there. All the Dodger buddies are out there in Boston. So this guy here, this one surprised me. This one really surprised me that he came off from the get-go. He's been lights out. He's been pitching really well. I mean, he had not a pretty well start, a good start last one against the Padres, but he did pretty well. Like the beginning of the season till I guess that's why he's the pitcher of the month in the NL. But I honestly didn't see this one coming, and I'm happy for him, to be honest, because everybody thinks that that's it. This is his last year. He's not going to pitch anymore, and I know he has back problems, and we're still waiting, and hopefully it doesn't happen. But every Dodger fan is kind of expecting him to go in IL anytime soon, you know, and hopefully it doesn't happen. But at the same time, it's like he is getting older. And he is one of those pitchers that he does need that rest, and they are going to need him if the Dodgers are going to make the push for the playoffs and try to get deeper into the playoffs than they did last year. They need this man to be healthy, and he's off to a good start right now. And I feel like he needs to keep pitching, man, and hopefully he doesn't get injured. But you know, it's all up to the baseball gods and see what happens.
Yeah, last season we saw Kershaw basically be Kershaw. You know, he ended the season with a 2.28 ERA, only pitched 126 innings. So like you said, we need this guy to be healthy, right? So he's already pitched 42 innings this season. Good strikeouts, 48 strikeouts and 42 innings. Walks are a little bit higher than I'd like to see from Kershaw, you know, especially a guy like him that is like so precise with his everything. You know, his OCD has got to be off the charts, because every time, like, he is so good about pinpointing his fastball, his changeup, his curveball. He puts the ball wherever he wants it to go, you know. And you can see when he's pitching, you can see like the discouragement in his face when he accidentally, you know, when he throws one off a little bit outside the zone, inside the zone, whatever. If it was a mistake, you can see him like just like grimace, like kind of like pain, you know. Like, it hurts him like when he messes up like that. So Like you said, I think the secret to the Dodgers actually having success this year is going to be Kershaw staying healthy and
Yeah.
pitching more than 120 innings. We can get 150 out of Kershaw. I think that's a win.
Dang. You think that will happen though?
I think it can happen if he takes care of himself, because
Yes.
I feel like there's too many times when he'll be on the mound, it's the third inning, and he just tries to push through whatever type of ailment that he's going through. He's a gamer, he
Yeah,
doesn't
he
want
is
to
a
get
gamer.
taken out of the game.
Yeah.
He's an ace.
Yeah.
And aces don't want to be taken out of the game. They want to finish what they started because they believe in themselves, just like everyone else believes in them. But when you're over 30, and you have a history of back issues and, arm issues that we talked about a couple seasons ago, possibly having Tommy John surgery. It actually just ended up being just like tendonitis or something.
Yeah.
But those are the type of signs that I really hope that Dave Roberts and Mark Pryor can see and just pull him out of the game early, even for the smallest thing. Give him some time to rest so that way he can make his next start.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ernie.
I totally agree with you guys. Kershaw's just doing Kershaw things. You're seeing his veteran presence in the team. I honestly expected Urias to have a better season than him this year, but looks like Kershaw's doing such a better job, showing his maturity in the field, just pitching like Will said, putting in the pitches in the locations. Man, the guy is doing great. Unfortunately, he had that hiccup with Tatis, giving up 2 home runs, but overall, he had a great start on the road. I mean, it's not easy playing in San Diego. The fans could be a little loud out there, but he is still doing pretty good things. And as long as he pitches 5 innings per start and just save him up for the playoffs, Dodgers will be just fine.
Yeah. Hey, before we move on from Kershaw, and I want to ask this question because I feel like maybe that's something that Dodgers are thinking about. Do you think if like maybe in the midseason, if the Dodgers are pulling away from first place, or not even, they're 5 games up, or a little distance, you think that they should probably keep Kershaw at home and not travel with the team if they don't need him to start? Because there's some I guess what I'm trying to say is, like yesterday, the Dodgers played the Padres, and there was a 4 o'clock game, and they had to travel to Milwaukee, right? The problem I see with that always happens when they go to New York and they play the Mets. They play the afternoon game in ESPN, and then they have to fly back and they come to the West Coast. They do play a night game, but they're tired, jet lag and all that stuff happens. So with those things, and I'm just saying this because I'm a Dodger fan, and I noticed this from the Dodgers, and I see this with the Angels. I see that with any West Coast team when they have that ESPN late night game. They go to they go to New York, they travel from over there to the West, or it can be the other way around. They have their night game here, and then they have to travel all the way to the East Coast, and then their time is all jacked up. I don't know if you guys noticed that from any West Coast team, but that's what I've been seeing lately, and I kind of hate that. But do you agree, or do you feel like that might happen in the future for Kershaw?
I think it'd be smart, but I don't think it'll ever happen.
Yeah.
I think Kershaw is so dedicated to this team, which is why he didn't go anywhere else. He didn't sign anywhere else. I am 100% positive that there was another team that offered him more money than the Dodgers offered him for that 1-year season, for the 1-year contract. But he chose to stay with the Dodgers, even with the 13% tax in California that's getting taken out of his paycheck. He doesn't care. He is a very honorable person. He's very loyal, and I feel like that's one of the things that makes him great. And he doesn't want to be away from his team, even when he's on a 60-day IL because of something that's happening. He's always in the dugout.
He's traveling.
He's always in the clubhouse. He's traveling with them. Yeah.
What's up, fellas? Let's talk baseball. Chewy, man, thank you for jumping
What's
in,
up,
dude.
Chewy?
We are talking baseball. If you have any more questions, we just talked about Acuna. I don't know if you missed it. I know you're a big Braves fan, so if you have any more questions on that, he's a huge Braves fan. So I mean, they are in first place, which is a good thing for you. We're in first place too. So just want to put that out there. All right, Ernie, you got something to say about that?
Yeah, Kershaw's definitely going to travel the team. He's one of those type of players that likes to be with his teammates, teaching them tips, showing the younger guys how to pitch. The
Yeah.
only thing I could see is that the Dodgers take a major lead on the standings. I could see him missing a couple starts to let some of the AAA guys get in some reps and take some time off to ease off for September and October baseball. But
Excellent. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
for now, I think it's nice just to see him still pitching, and hopefully he could just stay healthy.
Yeah. Hopefully he
There's
could
a
get
few
another month.
teams there's a few teams. I think the Padres might actually be one of them that they have a 6-man rotation going, and maybe it's smart for the Dodgers to do that because the Dodgers
Yeah.
still have depth. They still
Yeah.
have some guys in AAA that are ready to come up,
Yeah.
and possibly take a rotation spot. Dustin May is healthy. Gonsolin is healthy right now. You could even potentially do a trade, before the deadline and just try to make something happen.
Yeah.
Acuna is on fire. Yes, he is, man.
Hell yeah, he is.
Incredible. It's incredible to see what that guy does when he's healthy.
Oh, we're more on fire? I don't know.
Hey, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
All right, let's keep moving, man. And you just said the young guys need to step up, and this is a young guy, the rookie of the year, no, your rookie of the month for April. And I mean, I didn't see this one coming from the Rangers. Didn't see him being one of the players that were going to be a top player, but I did put the fantasy numbers down there only because if you're watching this show, we do have our show on Friday that talks about fantasy and all this stuff. And if you're looking at or trying to ask fantasy questions, we're always open to answering. We do have Will here that it's expert in fantasy, and I mean we're kind of there, but I'm not in debt like Will is. He digs into all that stuff. He can tell you everything. Will, we had a question on Dynasty League, and I didn't think we could answer that, so we were like, oh, all right, we'll try to get back to you on that, but maybe you can explain that a little bit later, and we'll go into it. But did you guys expect this one? Or are you guys keeping up with the Rangers? Because I think the Rangers are kind of one of those teams that are like playing good baseball, but we're not talking about them as much.
Yeah, I like Josh Young. He has very high expectations when it comes to power. As a let's see, he was 22 at the time. He had 19 home runs. To have 19 home runs as a 22-year-old, that
Yeah,
that speaks in itself, and that's only in
of
78
course.
games.
Yeah,
So imagine he plays 162. That 19 home runs could easily turn into 30.
yeah, yeah,
In MLB, because that was in the minors where he hit the 19 home runs. But big power. He's not going to be a big help in batting average, but with the loss of Corey Seager, this guy just kind of stepping up to the plate and making things happen. This is why Texas is actually doing as good as they are right
yeah,
now. Guys like him, guys like Simeon that are kind of like helping carry the team without Corey Seager there. And imagine when Corey Seager comes back.
yeah. See, that's the thing with Corey Seager. He's always getting injured, man. He's always on the IL. So you need other players to step up, and Josh Young is one of them that's stepping up right now. So that's good for the Rangers, man. And Ernie, I know you're an Angels fan. You get to see the Rangers, play the Angels a
Yeah,
lot.
that's
So
true.
yeah, did you expect
So I
this
got to
from
see
this
Josh
guy?
Young. Yeah, I got to see him over the weekend, man. He definitely raked all over the Angels, man. Poor Angel pitchers had still no chance against Texas this weekend. They just hit it off the ballpark, and we took the major L's this week. But Josh Young showed good signs of being a great player down the road, and he's off to a great start for the Rangers, which is really good. It's
Okay.
great to see.
Yeah, and you know what, Will? Since we have you here, we do want to ask you: is that a good pickup for fantasy?
Yeah. Third base is terrible this year. Even guys that were like fantasy like standouts in previous seasons, guys like Alex Bregman, they're not those guys anymore. It's hard to find a really solid third baseman in especially in a 12-team league. 10-team leagues, it's a little bit easier. There's at least 10 third basemen that are pretty solid out there where they could be your starting third baseman in your league. But
Yeah.
if your league is more than 10 teams, if you have a corner infield spot, a lot of
Mhm.
times I think that there's one team in our league that we play where one guy has like Arenado plus Devers plus like another third baseman. So they're just like hogging them all, which was actually smart on their part during the
Yeah.
draft to make sure they get all those guys. Because eventually, before the trade deadline, that is huge trade bait.
Yeah.
There's guys that are going to need a third baseman, and they're going to be willing to give up, a solid pitcher.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pitchers out there that are doing things that no one expected either.
Yeah.
Zach Eflin, no one expected anything from Zach Eflin, but the Rays talk about the Rays so much, and it's because they are so good at what they do. They develop their players so well,
Yeah.
and Zach Eflin moving over to the Rays, and all of a sudden he's pitching like an ace over there, dude.
Yeah. He is, dude. So a great pickup here. If you have him, if you don't have him available, he's what? Let me just put this up again. I did see that it's 70% in Yahoo and 30% in ESPN. If you don't have a good third baseman, I think this guy's a good pickup. So, and
Yeah,
like
I
Will
definitely
said,
like
there's
him better in categories leagues rather than in points leagues because his plate discipline isn't very good. He still strikes out at more than 30%. So under 30% is what you really want to look for. I think he's at like a 34%.
gotcha.
I can actually check that real quick. It's no 31.6, so it's a little bit high. Definitely down from last season. Last season he was at a 38.2 strikeout percentage. So walks are up a little bit, strikeouts are down a little bit. So it's trending in the right direction, let's say.
Yeah.
But a corner infield spot in a points league, I'd love to have a guy like Josh Young. Categories league, I wouldn't mind having him as my starting third baseman.
There you go. If you haven't subscribed or you haven't liked the video, go ahead and do that. If you have any questions, we do have the comment section, and we'll read it off here and we'll answer your questions. Don't be shy. I do see I see a few of you guys on here. Just do us a favor and like the video and subscribe if you haven't done so. I know we're going to try to make it a theme because we do have a few views, and we're like, wait, what's going on? We have a lot of views, but we don't have the like button. Even if you don't like the video, I think you should go ahead and put a comment there. Hey, you guys should change this up. Sound like this, sound like that. Like, that's always helpful for us. I mean, we're not professionals. We're just talking baseball, and that's what we love to do. That's what we're doing this show. Let's move on to the next one. It's this rookie. I kind of saw this one coming from from the Dodgers to James Outman. I did see his
Dude,
first
you
home
were
run
so
out in
high on
Colorado.
him last season. I remember
Yeah,
when he
I
came up,
was.
and you wouldn't shut up about this guy.
Nah, dude. This guy, look, it's because I saw him in Colorado. I saw him go hitting practice. His sound on the bat just sounds different. And I don't know if you guys seen the movie Troll with a Curveball. That
Uh-huh.
sound that they talk about, I heard it from this guy, and a lot of people were saying, "Well, this guy's not going to be good. This guy's going to not, hit home runs. He's going to strike out a lot." But for some reason, I kind of felt like, nah, man, this guy's on top of it. And then last year, look how well he did. And now moving into this year, which he kind of slowed down a little bit. I know he hit a home run yesterday in the Padres series, but he kind of did slow down. But even though I think he's doing a great job, he kind of does have that swing. He has that swagger, something that the Dodgers do need because they lost Cody Bellinger. So it kind of, they kind of have matching numbers right now. So it kind of makes sense, for the Dodgers to have this man. Am I going to say, oh, I predicted him to be the player of the month? I didn't see that coming at all. But I do see this man getting better as time goes by because this guy does have power. He's pretty like calm at the plate. He has a know of how kind of to catch the ball in the outfield. So it's like he kind of has all those tools, and he could be a greater player than what he is now. I don't know if you guys agree with me.
Yeah, definitely. One of the biggest things that I really love about James Outman, he's a left-handed bat, and he hits lefties better than he hits righties. This season he's been hitting lefties at a 296 clip, and versus righties he's at a 267 clip. So,
Yeah,
267 is a good batting average for basically anyone in the league. Like 270 with the type of power that he has, because he already has 8 home runs.
yeah,
But a 296 against the same side where you hit from, like that's insane, man. That most batters don't do that well against pitchers that throw with the same side that they swing from.
yeah.
So
That's
for
true.
him to do that, this 973 OPS, that's incredible, dude. It kind of gives me remnants of when Cody Bellinger was a rookie with the Dodgers,
Yeah,
and I don't know if last season was actually considered James Outman's rookie season. I don't think it
it's
was.
not. It's
It's
not
not.
because it was a call up. Yeah, it was a call up. So it's not something that he was considered. He didn't have enough at bats to do it to be the
I
considered
wonder
rookie of
what
the
the
year.
cutoff is because he had 130 at bats last season, 151 plate appearances. So I actually should actually look that up. I'm not sure what
Yeah,
it.
that's a really good observation. But I think he didn't qualify because the number of bats that he had was a little lower than normal. But if you get called up like in August, which I believe that's what happened with him, it doesn't. No, he got called up in July actually, 'cause that's when we were in Colorado. So yeah, dude, but he's still part of the rookie season this year, so he could
Yeah,
still qualify to win the rookie of the year, which
I
is
think
he's up
because
there.
he was on and off from the team, he was constantly going to the majors,
Yeah,
back to AAA. So I don't think it's considered his full rookie year.
yeah,
But James Outman is out there producing runs for the Dodgers, man. He's been in some big clutch moments. He has yesterday was just another example why he is considered probably rookie of the year. Actually, he's
yeah.
producing numbers that we're constantly. Hey, the Dodgers constantly brings these rookies, man, and we know them for developing their players and always finding ways to bring the best of them.
Yeah,
With the loss of Cody Bellinger, he's been a great replacement. The Dodgers did sign Jason Hayward as a good veteran presence. But
yeah,
hey, man, he's been taking some at bats from some of the outfielders out there in Dodgers.
yeah,
So James Outman is the man right now. And for that cheap of price, why not? Just
yeah.
keep on
Put him out
playing.
there. Put him
Yep,
out there.
exactly.
Well, I just wanted to ask you: do you think he's a good pickup for fantasy baseball?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
He's going to be that typical player that has a lot of cold and hot streaks, but
Yeah.
you just you have to go with the gamble and you got to hope that there's going to be more hot streaks than there are cold streaks. He's on a bit of a cold streak right now. He's only batting like 200 in the past few weeks, but
Yeah.
he could catch fire at any time. And those are the type of guys that you got to give him a little bit of a leash, a little bit longer leash. You can't take it back right away because if you drop this guy, someone's going to pick him up very soon, and then you're going to be kicking yourself because you dropped him too early.
Too early. You're right. And the next guy we're going to talk about, Altman's teammate, hit it out against him yesterday. I just want to put that out there. Um, but he had a great month of April, and this guy turned it around from last year. Last year, he that's why he got traded to the Padres from Milwaukee because they couldn't find the strike zone. He was missing. He was serving it up basically, and they were hitting a lot of home runs off of him. He came to San Diego. He changed a little bit, and of course we all remember that NLDS where the Padres did beat the Dodgers, and this guy closed it out. And then he came in April and he did good. So he's the top reliever for the month of April, and I mean he has some nasty stuff, dude. And it doesn't surprise me for him to come back and be the top closer for the National League because right now there's not those top closers out there where you kind of feel like, oh yeah, we have Jensen. No, he's not a top closer anymore. Oh, you have Will Smith. I don't know if he's still a closer. I don't even know if he's still a closer. So
No,
you,
he's
you
not.
don't have those top closers anymore. And Josh Hader is the top closer that that's happened. That's it right now, right? Do you guys agree?
I
Yeah,
totally agree,
definitely.
Carlos. I think Josh Hader is one of the best relievers we have in the MLB right now. He's very unhittable. It's hard to find a lefty closer too. And he's just throwing some nasty pitches out there. Mookie got the best of him off a 301 pitch yesterday, but other than that, it was his first blown save of the season. So it's part of the game. Closers
Yeah,
are going to blow some saves here and there, and
yeah,
the Dodgers just took advantage of one yesterday.
yeah. And Hader, you know what? Hader is he had what is it, 10 saves last month? That's pretty good. And if he keeps going that way, then the Padres keep winning games. This guy might reach like probably 60 saves for the year. I don't know if that's possible. I know I've been seeing 40 to 50, but if it gets to where the Padres start hitting and they start like playing better, this man's going to be out there a lot more and saving games for them. So, I mean, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I see for Josh Hader is his control has just gotten so much better. He's not
Yeah,
walking batters like he was last season, and he's not missing his spots. He
yeah,
has a 28% whiff rate on his sinker. And when they're not whiffing on it, they're just hitting it into the ground. So it's going to be an out, especially with the infield that they have. You got Manny Machado in the hot corner. You have Xander Bogaerts right next to him. Hans, I forgot how to
Han
say his
Sang-Kim. Han
Hanseon
Sang-Kim.
Kim. You know,
Yeah,
he's a
Han
great
Sang-Kim.
defender himself.
Mhm.
And Cronenworth at first base, like he digs out everything, you know. So it's like the Padres have the perfect infield for a guy like Hader, for any type of ground ball pitcher. And he's not just a ground ball pitcher; he gets a shitload of strikeouts too.
Yeah,
So he's definitely higher than a strikeout per inning. I think he's at like a 10 point something K rate per nine. So
it's crazy.
he just gets so many swings and misses on his sinker, on his changeup, on his slider. The slider is just unreal. It moves so much lateral movement where you think it's coming in, it's going to be a fastball, and just so late, it just breaks 8 inches and goes all the way to the other side of the plate. Shit's crazy.
It's crazy. Not only that, when he has his like high kick, and he kind of hides himself before he throws the ball, that's scary, dude. That's really scary. I saw, I guess, an image from the backstop. That just looks like he's hiding, and then it's just you just see his arm like whipping around and coming at 98, 99. That's
Yeah.
fast, dude.
And
And then
dude,
that slider.
for being a small guy, because he's not that big, he's only 5'11", 180 pounds, and to be throwing that hard and with he looks a lot taller on the mound than he
Yeah,
actually is. He
he
looks
does.
like a big dude.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Those
Another
long
one that
lanky arms. He got those long limbs, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I was gonna say. He has some long arms. That's why he's throwing that hard, and he does look a lot taller than what he's originally looks like. But the mound adds a little bit more to it, right? And then being the lefty, look at Randy Johnson, dude.
Oh
That
yeah,
man was tall as hell, throwing
killing
sidearm.
birds and shit.
Exactly. Another one that won the the AL reliever of the month is Felix Bautista, and he's playing on a good team right now with the Orioles. And I didn't see this one coming. Like I said, closers, they're not really known right now. It's because I'm old school. I guess I still remember the old ones. Like I said earlier, Clinton Jensen and all those closers. Those are no more. They're going in an extinction. So maybe this guy is going to be the top for all year, or do you guys feel like he's going to be the top reliever and the top closer for the AL?
I think he's looking like it. That's exactly what he's going to be at the end of the season. 99-mile-an-hour fastball, 88-mile-an-hour split finger, and an 86-mile-an-hour slider. What else do you need as a closer? You know, most closers are only 2-pitch pitchers, and this guy has 3 in his arsenal. That on the four seamer, he's getting a 35% whiff rate. On the split finger, he's getting 63.3, and on the slider, he's at a 66.7. So
Mm-hmm.
all of these pitches, he's getting a lot of swings and misses, and I think it's mainly because of his command with his fastball, throwing it 99 miles an hour, sometimes even hitting triple digits.
Yeah, he's throwing hard, and he's hitting them. He's hitting his spots. That's what it is. He's hitting his spots. He's not missing. And when he does miss, you can really see, like, oh, like you were talking about Kershaw. He gets kind of mad and stuff like that. I noticed that this guy kind of like looks and he's like, man, where did I miss with that? Why am I throwing it here? So there, you do have those pitchers that evaluate themselves after every pitch, and this guy does that, which is kind of funny. That you mentioned that earlier with Kershaw. Ernie, what you think, man?
Felix Bautista's looking like the real deal, man. Like you mentioned, there's not really many good closers out there. We missed the Joe Nathans out there, the Troy Percival, Frankie
Yeah.
Rod. Those closer days are kind of gone with this so much offensive power in the MLB these days.
Yeah.
You see closers just blowing saves more than often these days, and you see these teams swapping out closers here and there. Like, try out a new reliever, let's try out another guy, and they usually just go with the hot hand going forward.
Yeah.
But Felix Bautista has been in a lot of close games with the Orioles this year, and he's proven time and time again that he could close it out. Like you say, has not blown a save this season yet, and the Orioles have won 7 games by 1 run this season. So they've been involved in a lot of close games, and the bullpen has held it down for them.
And
So
that's really
Felix
good. That's really good because the Orioles. So the Orioles are the second best team in the AL, and it sucks that they're in the East, or else they could have been in first place in another division, right?
Oh, for sure.
The Orioles, what are they doing right? What is it that they're doing right now? Because it
Everyone's
seems,
hitting.
yeah,
Everyone's hitting. They have
that's
such a
crazy.
good team right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Such a good lineup. That's what they've been focusing on for years, just building this lineup. Even
yeah,
the rookies, Adley Brushman,
The
amazing dude.
beast.
Ryan Mountcastle. Everyone thought that he was gonna regress because when the Orioles had changed their left field wall. To make it a little bit farther out, they thought that he
farther
was going
out.
to be able to hit as many home runs as he was before. But dude, this guy's mashing.
Yeah.
Jorge Mateo. I know that's a little bit later, but dude,
No, it's here. It's here. You go for it. Go for it.
Jorge Mateo, man, it's like this guy,
This
87
dude.
87% rostered on Yahoo, and that's not enough, man. This guy needs to be 90 plus. He
Yeah.
is incredible, dude. I have him. I'm not sure how many teams I have him on. I have him on at least one of them. But 6 home runs, 12 stolen bases with a 304 batting average. His expected batting average is a little bit lower. It's at 281, but I feel like the system's just a little bit wonky this year just because StatCast is used to factoring in the shift, and now that the shift has been banned, I feel like there's something missing from StatCast to really understand what these players are really doing, but he's hitting the ball hard, harder than any season before. He's average exit velocity is 90.1 miles an hour. Max exit velocity is also the hardest of his career at 112.4. Launch angle's good. It could be a little bit higher. It's at a 9.3 right now, but in previous seasons, he's been closer to like 14 or 15. If he can get closer to like 14 or 15 again, we could see 20 plus home runs from this guy with 30 stolen bases.
Dang.
I don't think that a 30-30 season's out of the realm of possibilities for this guy, especially with the Orioles just hitting the way they do. Hitting is contagious, with all the other hitters on the team hitting like they are. Jorge Mateo is just going to follow suit and just stay right there with them.
I agree, man. And they have Adam Frazier. They have, the oldest person on that team. What I'm seeing right now is Jay McCann, and he's 33 years old. Everyone else is under that. Adam Frazier, he's 31. He's the second oldest. But everyone from there, they're in their 20s, and they're playing great baseball right now, dude.
That is correct. And like I said, they have some young arms in the bullpen, not some very no-name relievers, but they are getting the job done and holding them down to keep the lead, which is very impressive. And with Felix Bautista closing the game, they really only need just 5 innings from the starters. As long as the bullpen can hold them down and the offense just continues to rake like they are, they're going to keep competing. And I'm not sure how the AL East will feel about that because it's going to be a tough one this year for them to face the Orioles.
Look, I have a question for you guys, and that's why I wanted to like this is something that.
Oh, your microphone is muted.
There we go.
There you
go. This is funny because I wanted to talk about the Orioles because I wanted to ask this question: is this team going to keep it up all year long? Is there a team that it's only 1 month into the season, but we saw this last year in September when they did all those call-ups. They played great baseball. They even had a chance to go into the playoffs. Now you start the season pretty hot. Like I said, if they would have been in another division, they would have been in first place for sure. But the Rays are on top, right? But they have to catch up to them, but they are part of the wild card. Are they going to keep this up? Are they going to be playing baseball all the way through? Because it is a long season. It's only the beginning right now. Do you guys see that this team is going to keep it going? Or is it going to be where it hits August and they start falling off?
Go ahead, Ernie.
Oh, man, this is a tough one. Are they contenders or pretenders? That's what you're trying to tell me.
Exactly. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
We did see last year that the Orioles fell short, right? And I'm pretty sure they're going to fall a little short this year as well. Unfortunately, the AL East is very stacked. The Yankees are going to get healthier. The Red Sox are also fighting well. And the Blue Jays. Can't forget about the Blue Jays, man. So this whole every team there in that division is just must win when you face them, right? Unfortunately, I think they're just too young. It's a little too early for them. But don't get me wrong, they are heading in the right path. And, it is nice to see the Orioles finally in contention. It's a
Yeah,
team that had rebuilt for more than like a decade, it feels like. But they've been on the right path. And, ever since Manny Machado left, the team is finally competing now. So it's great to see.
that's true. That's true. You made a good point. And you said, so they're not going to make the playoffs? They're pretenders?
I mean, I could just see them going for the wild card push. But other than that, I don't see them winning the division. And it's going to come down to September if they're still up there.
Okay.
Standings.
All right. Will?
If they're gonna make it into playoff contention, it's got to be with this lineup because their pitching sucks. Their pitching is so bad. You have the only reason why this team is winning is because of their bats. Because you have Kyle Gibson has a 4-1 record, so 4 wins and 1 loss with a 4.61 ERA. That is
I
terrible.
do see that. That is
Kyle
terrible.
Bradish, a 1-1 record with a 5.95 ERA. How do you even have 1 win with an almost 6 ERA? That's crazy to me. Dean Kramer, who the hell is that guy? Grayson Rodriguez, who's supposed to be like the future of the Orioles pitching staff. He has 1 win, no losses with a 5.46 ERA.
Yeah.
There's only one starting pitcher on this team with an ERA that's actually acceptable. It's a 3.15 ERA with a 2 wins and 1 loss record, and that's Tyler Wells. Tyler Wells has been pitching above his head. He's not going to be able to keep that up all season long. I don't see any aces. Kyle Gibson is the only like real veteran that they have on the team, and everyone else, it's like that's not the guy you want to learn from. A guy that's been like a number 4 or 5 starter in his whole career. You want to learn from guys like Kershaw. You want to learn from guys like Garrett Cole, like real aces, So honestly, I don't see the Orioles. I think the Orioles just kind of got off to a really hot start, and it's just because of their bats, because Kyle Gibson actually had some pretty good starts. He had a good run for like 4 starts in a row. But future wise, these guys have to do something before the trade deadline to actually like be in contention, because what wins the playoffs? Not bats. Pitching wins the playoffs.
Pitching wins playoffs. And it's crazy you mentioned that. I did see all the stats of the ERAs. They're really high. And what's keeping them there is hitting, which is good. And if they do want to keep playing or trying to get into the first place in the AL East, or trying to make that wild card, because you have what, two spots wild card, 2 or 3? No, three wild card spots. Isn't it? The bracket's different. We have 2. Is it 3 division winners and then 3 wild card?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So then you have 3 spots. If they're trying to contend to win one of those 3 spots, they're going to have to change pitching. They're going to have to add pitching in July, which is
exactly.
Yeah, you have to trade some pieces away to get what you want. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I agree with you guys. I'm not going to say that, they're doing good, so good that they're going to make it all the way. It's too early in the season, and they are playing good ball. They are hitting well. It's just the pitching. When we see the pitching, it's not matching up to the hitting. If you had like a couple of guys in the 3s, then maybe you're like, okay, their pitching's all right. They can make it through, but they're not. You just have one guy in the 3s, and the rest of them's in the 4 and 5s, which is kind of like that ERA is too high. You need to bring them down. Let's go ahead and move on, dude. Let's talk about rivalry week. And I said so-called rivalry week because it's not the common one that we're used to seeing. We were used to seeing the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, Giants. They're trying to push the Tampa Bay Rays and the Yankees, which we kind of see a little bit of tense moments with them since 2020, with Chapman hit. I forgot. He didn't hit him. He threw the ball over his head, and in the playoffs, I forget his name. Brusso, I think it's called. And since that point to now, it seems like they're always hitting each other, and they're always trying to fight. So this weekend, Arozarena got hit twice after he hit a home run. And do you guys feel like this is a new rivalry, or is this a rivalry in your eyes?
I feel like everyone's a rival with the Yankees, because Yankees are kind of assholes like that. That's just how they play the game. If something happens to them, they take it personally, and then they take it out on the other team. And that it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Mike Trout, you could be Ronald Acuna, you could be Juan Soto. It doesn't matter. If you piss someone off on that team, they're going to come after you. And it's been like that throughout history.
Yeah,
Throughout the whole time that the Yankees have been, one of the top contenders, which is basically all of history, all of MLB history.
yeah, I agree.
It's
But
very true.
I just don't feel like it's a thing where we can call it a rivalry though. I don't think it's one thing that we can be like, yeah, it's a division rivalry, but it's not
Right.
something where I feel like it's
Well,
a
it's
tough
also
rivalry. I don't
only a
know.
division rivalry right now because the Red Sox are not, the one of the top contenders anymore, because usually it's Yankees Red Sox. It's been like that
Right.
for decades. But
Yeah,
because the Red Sox are kind of just an afterthought right now, even though they're playing good baseball right now, Tampa Bay is the team to beat.
yeah,
And I think the Yankees are just taking that personally and
yeah.
kind of taking that out on these young players.
I just feel they're bullies, man. The
Oh yeah,
Yankees are
for
bullies. They're
sure.
bullies. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's very true. The Yankees are usually have like a very old school mentality. So seeing Rosarena celebrate his pose after the home run, it rubbed them the wrong way. The Yankees were going to do anything to shut him down. Like, you know what? Screw you. We're going to just throw it inside. But I think that you guys are very right. It's a very bully team. But Wilson, the Yankees, man, they're just down 10 games in the standings right now, and they're definitely struggling. Watching the Tampa Bay Rays take them down this weekend was just another reminder that, hey, the Rays are here to stay, and they're the top team in the division now.
yeah, they are, and they continue to be the top team in baseball, pretty much.
Yeah.
I know for sure when the Rays got, I guess Rosarena got hit. You have Cashman going out there because they issued the warning signs. They issued the warning to both dugouts, and they kind of felt like, all right, why didn't you give Cashman and the Rays a little bit of time to be like to retaliate? Don't just give them the warning and then that's it. That's why Cashman got kicked out of that game. And I feel like the Yankees get their way a lot of
Oh yeah.
times. Like that's not right. And it's East Coast bias thing. What I said earlier that the West Coast teams play that night game and then they got to fly to the East Coast or the other way around, which kind of sucks. It really sucks. But for the Rays not to back down, which is kind of cool because they haven't backed down and they've been playing tough against the Yankees. My question is it a rivalry or it's not a rivalry? We'll start with you, Will.
I think this is it's a rivalry, but it's a 2020s rivalry. I don't
Okay.
think it's going to go any farther than maybe just like a few seasons.
Okay.
It's not one for the ages, that's for sure.
Okay.
Tampa Bay Rays are too new of a team to really have a rivalry with anybody. They were first introduced in 1998, and they sucked really bad for their
Mhm.
first like 10 years, something like that. And
Yeah.
then when they finally changed their name to the Rays, got rid of the Devil Ray part, that's actually when they started playing really good baseball. And they went to the World Series a couple times. They lost both times, but that's when the team actually started becoming like a contender, a real
Yeah.
contender. From 2008 to 2023, they've only had 4 losing seasons. So
Dang.
they are a legit contender right now. That's a pretty good stretch. That's like 15 years,
Yeah.
that they only have 4 losing seasons. That's
That's
amazing.
really good.
Amazing to
That's really
see.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. So, Ernie, what do you think, man? This is a rivalry or not?
It's not a rivalry, Carlos. You already know the rivalries are Yankees and Red Sox. That's your traditional rivalry. This is just a divisional rival. It's just because the Rays are in first place and the Yankees are pretty mad. It's pretty simple as that.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Yankees are down
It's
10
it's a
games
it's
and
a
it's hurting
definitely
them.
a jealousy thing.
It's jealousy. You see all these cool guys, hitting bombs with the Rays. Like, who the heck are these guys think they are? They're the new kids on the block taking
Yeah.
over, and they don't like that.
Dude,
The
you just
home run
mentioned
celebrations, dude. I freaking love these home run celebrations. I wish all these teams would do that.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
man.
getting to it though. They're getting
Yeah,
to it,
a
which
lot
is
of
really
teams are.
good. They have a lot of props now, which MLB is allowing some to come out. I know they took away the celebration for the Braves with the big hat. I guess they didn't approve it or something, so that
Mm.
happened. But you just said jealousy, and of course we're Dodger fans. Angel. I mean, Ernie's an Angel fan, but he doesn't hate on the Dodgers. And one of the things that I saw this weekend, there's a lot of jealous Giants fans because they're talking about Padres, Dodgers, the new rivalry, and all this stuff. They're going to be bigger than ever. Like, get the hell out of here. It's not a rivalry. To me, it's not a rivalry yet. Just like Yankees and Rays, it's not a rivalry yet because in order for that to happen in my book, I feel like they need to win something. And it kind of sounds like, oh, they have to win. Like, yes, they do. They have to win. Like last year, the Padres did beat the Dodgers in the NLDS. And if they would have gone to the World Series and won that, it would have hurt a lot more than it does now. Like, it doesn't really hurt. It happens. It's baseball. If you're a real baseball fan, you will understand that. But I still feel that the Dodgers and Giants are still the top rivalry, even though the Giants aren't playing all that well. This series was okay. I do want them to win, but it's not kind of like, do I feel like it's something that's going to hurt me? Like, not really. I don't know. What do you guys think?
What about you, Will? You're also like every Dodger fan thinking it's not a rivalry?
It's not a rivalry, dude.
Really?
Look,
I'm in the outside.
Check this out. I guess you see it differently because you're on the outside looking in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But this is what I see. When Giants fans go to Dodger Stadium, there's stabbings. When Padres fans go to Dodger Stadium, someone gets punched. There's a big difference between someone hitting with the fist and then someone having to go to the hospital because they're 3 inches deep with a blade in their stomach. So that's the biggest things that I see. And another thing I see is the Padres team that they have was bought and paid for.
Okay.
You look at the Rays, and they don't really have a lot of guys that were bought and paid for. They have homegrown talent.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have homegrown talent. When the Giants were on top, when they had their decade of destruction in the 2000 to 2010, that
2010 to 2018, I believe. 2018. Yeah.
Was it 2018? No.
Yeah, 2010. That's when they won their first one. That's when they went on a tear. They won the 5-3.
The Dodgers went to the World Series in 2018.
Yeah, they did, but the Giants were still playing good ball. Like, they started their stretch of World Series was 2010, 2012, and 2014. That's when they won the
2014. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's when they won it. Didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, the Giants are also good at developing their homegrown talent. We saw that with Buster Posey and Brandon Crawford and Brandon Belt and Hunter Pence. A lot of these guys that grew up in their organization and got called up to the major leagues from the team that drafted them. Yeah. And they won World Series with those teams, 3 World Series with that team that they developed. The Padres didn't develop anyone. Who do they have that they developed? Who are their stars that they have that they developed? Tatis wasn't developed by the Padres. They got him in the White Sox trade. Machado came over from the Orioles, first from the Orioles and then the Dodgers and then the Padres. And then Juan Soto from the Nationals. Yu Darvish from the Rangers. And Josh Hader from the Brewers. They are buying their team. How can you consider this a great team when they're not even really a team? They're just like they're a piece from the Brewers and a piece from the Nationals and a piece from the Rangers. They're not a well-rounded team, in my opinion. I feel like they're just like borrowing players from organizations because they have a little bit of money to spend.
Okay. From the outside, I think it's a new rivalry in baseball. Every time the Dodgers face the Padres now, it's a very exciting weekend. We're all looking forward to it. The Dodgers are waiting to beat their ass, and so are the Padres to them. The Padres have been little brother for such a long time, and they finally have the superstars, and they feel confident that they can finally take the Dodgers down. And this is a rivalry they've been waiting for their whole lives,
Exactly. They've been waiting for it. Because if you talk to any Padres fan, if you ask them who's their rival, they will say the Dodgers.
Oh, for sure.
Ask any Dodgers fan, they'll be like, Padres aren't our rivals. The Giants are our rivals. Even though the Giants suck this year, it's like for some reason they keep on having our number. They come over to Dodger Stadium and they win. Like, how are you winning? You guys suck. It's because of that rivalry, man. It brings out the best in their players.
This is the first time I see more superstars in an NL West team than the Dodgers.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
This is the first time I ever come across this, and it's very interesting to see that the Dodgers are finally a homegrown team, has smaller, I don't know. The Padres just spend money, and we see time and time again that teams that spend a lot of money don't really win championships sometimes. Or they'll
They
win
don't.
one for the whole
Except the
era,
Yankees.
except the Yankees. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was back in the days. There was that much competition back in the 30s and 40s at that
Yeah.
time.
Look, I feel like, okay, so I'm not gonna sound like the typical Dodger fan that says, "Oh, it's not a rivalry." I just kind of want to a little open up a little bit more on that, because I feel like when a Dodger fan posts something on the Dodgers, there's a Padres fan right there to like, get on them, and it's like, what the hell? Like, we're on. I guess they're on our stuff. They're on our Dodger feed. They're everywhere. You don't see that with the Giants, Dodgers. You don't see that the Dodger fans going on Giants things, or the Giants fans going to Dodgers. I mean, which, is granted. You can go ahead and do that. But every time I see something on the Dodgers, you'll see a Padres fan hating, like hate. And there's so much hate to where it's like, whoa, dude, calm down, man. We don't consider you a rival. Like, relax, little brother. You still they're still gonna be our little brother no matter what. If
See,
they
and I
if
don't
they
even really
feel
see it as a little brother. I see it
I
as a
do.
little annoying cousin that comes over. That you just want to like push
Just kick
away
them out.
because you want to kick him out of your room.
But you know what I mean? I just feel like they have so much hate for a Dodger fan, and I understand why. Dodger fans can be annoying, and I'm a Dodger fan, and I'm just like, man, dude, calm down. It's only a team. It's only a game. Like, it's
Yeah,
okay. The rivalry's fine, but they're making it more than what it's supposed to be. This series is just one out of many that's going to happen this year. I'm not calling whatever. It was a great game yesterday. I didn't get to
it really
see it. I
was.
got to hear it, and I got to hear that that home run Mookie Betts off of Hader, which was kind of crazy to me, because Hader, we just talked about it. Hader can throw the ball. He's a top closer, so it's crazy. I don't know what like Ernie. I know you said it is a new rivalry.
Oh yes, definitely. It's a new rivalry. Every time they face each other, we're gonna see them again this week. Now they're also gonna play in 2024 to start the season in South Korea. It's a new rivalry, man. Everybody wants to watch these games. Like, we have so many superstars just in one game alone. You have one of the top 10, like six top 10 players in one game. If you ask me,
Yeah.
all
Hey,
just in one single game.
let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this: why is it that the Dodger fans or Dodger players, when they get asked certain things, they don't? They're just like whatever. And then you ask the Padre players, and they're like, "No, we got to beat them," and this and that, and they bring up the NLDS and all this stuff. It's like, dude, like, okay, why so much? Are you guys trying to be the bad? I guess you know how the Memphis Grizzlies, they had that one player that was talking so much crap, and throughout
Dylan
the
Brooks.
playoffs, Dalen Brooks, exactly. Is the Padres trying to be that? Do you feel like that's what they're trying to do?
Exactly. That's the same mentality they're going to continue doing the whole season until they finally win. I don't see them stopping until they finally win the championship, the World Series.
Well, we'll see what happens, man. And
They can
if
try, man, but it's
yeah,
like the thing that I said about the Rays, that they're so good about developing their players, and you can see a lot of homegrown talent. You can see the small payroll that they have, and still making it to the World Series, still making it to the playoffs multiple times. And since their inception in 1998, the Padres have been around since 1969. They only have 17 seasons with a winning record. That's terrible. They don't have a track record for developing their players, which is why they go out and buy their players, and
yeah,
that's fine. If you want to spend money, go ahead and spend money. But it doesn't put you on the same level as all these other teams that do have this homegrown talent,
yeah,
because we don't see, as Dodger fans, I don't see those teams as like a great team. They may be playing great, but they're not a great team, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, we all said our piece. We hope that you like what we said. If you don't like what we said, put it on the message board and we'll answer your questions. But we reached the end of our show. We already went over the hour mark, and we try to keep them on the hour
I
or
went by
at the hour
fast.
mark. Yeah, because we would talk baseball. It goes like you can talk forever, right? uh, let's go. Last mentions here. We'll start with Ernie. And go ahead, man.
Hey, man, it was a great, exciting weekend for baseball. We saw a lot of close games, the Dodgers Padres. We're excited to see it again next week. We're going to have more to talk about, more tensions. Like Genesis mentioned earlier, Machado fueled a lot of the hate. And thanks to that guy, there's been a lot. He started the rivalry, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You
All
know,
right.
he left with such a hate with the Dodgers that he's like, I'm gonna do anything in my power to beat them. So we'll see how it all plays out. We have a long season ahead, and I'm excited.
Cool. Will.
Um, kind of going off topic completely because we didn't talk about this guy at all. I think that this year, everyone needs to not really push their teams aside, but pay attention to Shohei Ohtani this year. Because next year, this guy is
Yeah.
going to be the highest paid MLB player of all time. He's going to break $500 million contract. Never been done before. Mike
Never.
Trout with his 400 and something million, forget that guy. Shohei Ohtani is
426.
going to get over a 10-year contract, I'm
Yeah.
thinking. He's
Yeah.
young. He's already had his Tommy John surgery, so he already got that out of the way. He's healthy. He hits bombs. He could potentially hit 280 to 300 every single season.
Well, you're
And
making me sad.
He's an Angels fan. He's an Angels
As an
fan.
Angels
What are you
fan,
doing?
I don't think we're gonna be able to afford him, man. And I'm
I
kind of
know
bummed
that's a
out.
lot of money. That's a
That's
lot
a
of
lot of
money.
money. There's no way
Yeah.
we're gonna be able to afford him, especially we're paying Rendon $38 million to hit one home run
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy. You said that we don't mention this guy. We didn't mention him on this show, but we've been mentioning this man every show we've been getting on, and I think it's the theme that we're gonna keep mentioning Otani because he's just the greatest player. And I've said it already. I called it. He's better than Babe Ruth. You
He
look at
might
his
be the
yeah,
best player of all time.
ever exactly, and that's just a debate to happen later on because he's still not
He's
done with
too
his
young.
career.
He
He's too
hasn't had
young,
enough
exactly.
time in MLB, but I feel like once he gets to that free agency mark, when he puts his time in, that's going to be what solidifies his career.
Exactly.
He's the path he's on. He is an automatic first ballot type of Hall of Fame player.
Yeah.
I think he was either led the league in strikeouts or he was like second in strikeouts last season. He pitches 180 innings and he'll get 240 strikeouts. This
Yeah.
guy's freaking incredible.
He's
Who
striking
does that?
everybody out.
Who does that plus hits 40 home runs?
Yeah.
I'm so
We'll see
excited
what.
to see him pitch tomorrow. He's gonna strike out all the Astros. It's gonna be a fun one.
Are you going tomorrow?
I'm trying to. Let's go.
I wouldn't mind. Let me go off of this question. Everyone hates the Dodgers in case we have all rivals, and that's good to be rivals with every team.
Dude.
If you're an opposing, I guess, fan of that team, go ahead and hate the Dodgers. It's fine.
That's it right there, because every single time the Dodgers go to another stadium, it's beat LA. Beat LA.
I love that.
Everywhere you go, it doesn't matter where you go. The Giants started it, and everyone else wants to chime in.
I love that. I love hearing it. Actually, when you go to a stadium and you hear it live, you're like, "Oh man, this is what you hear on TV. It's pretty
That's
cool."
what fuels guys like
Yeah.
movie bets, and that's why we tie up games in the 8th inning to be able to go into extras and then hit some more. James Outman with his home run, and then end up walking off as winners.
Cool. Guys, if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button. But this is the end of our show. We went over the hour mark. We are having a show on Friday, so don't forget to come and subscribe and like that video as well. What time you guys going on, Will? Do you know, on Friday?
So we like to go on at 6 every weekend, but last week I saw you when you guys got on a little bit later, there was a lot more traction in the comments.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that later time might be a little bit better. So I don't know.
Okay.
I got to talk to Javi about it. But
Okay.
for right now, I'll say 6 o'clock. Might be a little bit later. We might push it to 7 Eastern time.
Eastern time. That means 3 o'clock here West. So, all right. I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Ernie Orange and Will Power. Real Talk Baseball. Signing out.